have no idea how I'm going to get this leatherjack to advance to the bodyguard. That's 12 gold crowns.
Well, you do have a rich friend.
True. He's only paying me like 2 gold crowns, what is it, a week? And then I gotta eat off that too, so that's kind of rough. We'll see what happens.
Could always do like everyone else and loot it off of bodies. I think I can go get a drink real quick. Be right back. Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Alright, are we all ready?
I'm here.
I'm ready.
Okay, looks like we're all here then.
Yay.
Alright. So, who would like to go over what happened last time? Last time on Warhammer.
I ran afoul of Velvet, the dancer slash entertainer, I guess you could say. And I think now we are also going back into the sewers to see what happened to Lash, only to discover that the gold was discovered by the rat men, and there was some sort of bizarre riot and over foodstuffs in the next to the great park. And Kadesi was paid to plant suspicious gold coins amongst the food. In fact, required to wear heavy leather gloves as well. So no good can come of this. As we
Yes.
delve
Last time
into the sewers.
the refugees of the city had gotten a little bit upset and been convinced into doing a few small attacks around the city to go get some snacks. Meanwhile, of course, yes, you did meet with Velvet, though interesting way of putting it, since it was a very nice little conversation. But Gustav did, in fact, use all of his magics to try to locate Lash, and so you have ended up in the sewers for now. Let's see. Let's go ahead and handle the two up top first. We do have Berthold and Mordrin. Today is a nice, fine day, and reports are coming in that the riots, quote-unquote, are still sort of going on around the city. The refugees are still hungry, their problems haven't been solved, and they're still a little mad. But a few people have been saying that they've been seeing a large number of mutants all over the city. It seems there's a bit of an epidemic going on suddenly.
Uh-oh.
It has quite a number of the guards and the witch hunters all scrambling around the city trying to keep a lid on things, honestly. You do
Yes,
have at least...
who could have seen that coming?
Who could have seen that coming? All according to plan. But, Berthold, you do have at least one obligation that Mordrin has agreed to, though I'm not so certain you have, and you do have the day more or less, as always, to yourself. What do you plan to do this fine morning?
Could be reminded what that was. I know it was a warehouse, right?
Indeed, there was a warehouse where some refugees were working, and they were currently striking. They were not allowing anyone else to come in or out until their demands were met. And so it has put a stop on the man's business.
Right. And he was offering funding in exchange for this.
Indeed, and a return of 25% ownership of your business idea.
I mean, unless something else comes up, I guess I'll have to handle that.
Alright, so if you prepare and head down, you can find the warehouse easily enough. Let me go ahead and scroll over to it. Where is it? Here we go. As you approach the warehouse, you can see a... the district isn't too busy. This is, of course, where a lot of different people hoard the various needs of their businesses. So naturally, there's no real reason to riot over here. With the streets being mostly empty, it is, of course, interesting to see a good handful of people sitting outside of one particular building. The one with, what was his name? I gotta go find our noble's name again. Keep losing track of it.
Brand?
No, it was not Brandt this time. It was Christoph Warden. Yes. The warehouse in particular has Christoph Warden's name written right above it.
Okay.
Okay. And as I said, mostly it seems like the small group of people are sitting outside the door and mostly with their backs to it. A couple of them are sitting on the ground playing with some dice.
You mean how many people are out here?
It looks like 6 of them are right there. Though there might be more elsewhere.
And I will approach.
They
And
sort of
Mordrin will
raise their
follow.
eyebrows at such a fine nobleman approaching. Yeah? Who are you?
I am Berthold Hartmann, of the Delbrise Hartmanns, and I have been sent to negotiate with you. Fine, gentlemen.
Negotiate? Is he giving in to our demands, huh? You gonna pay us for real?
Well, that depends. What are your demands?
Let me take a look at their exact demands, because I did have some numbers I need to worry about. Alright, now he's paying us 1/10 of anyone else in the city. Just because we're refugees. He's paying us, only about 20 pence a week. Ain't enough for food.
Well, you understand, right, that you are transitory workers. Would you then not argue that perhaps you would require a shot at full-time work?
Well, whatever it takes to get paid. There ain't many places willing to hire us in the city, you know.
Right, and clearly Sir Waltz has offered a hand for a place for you to work instead of not working.
Keeps us from starving to death, but it ain't too good.
Right, you could be starving to death, as you say, but instead you're not. You're being given the opportunity.
He sort of crosses his arms and kind of just looks at you. It's like, what are you getting at?
That if you were to return to work, the opportunity might be made apparent to you that you could then receive full-time labor year-round, and thus a full day's pay, instead of being on transitory, as you are.
He sort of like tilts his head a little bit. It's like, I'm just still not getting it. What you saying here? Is he gonna pay us or not?
I'm saying that were you to work, the opportunity might be extended to you to make more money should you do a good job and not be shown to leave like the rest of the refugees.
Might be extended. Hell of an offer there, huh? And the rest of his small crew outside just kind of like giggles a bit.
You do understand the situation that you're under, yes?
I do. But if my choice is between splitting the bare, stale bit of bread that I get every week with my family, or not at all, well, not much of a difference, honestly.
You would
One way or
choose
another, we all gotta scavenge for food.
you would choose to starve than to make just enough to eat?
I gotta pull food right out of the garbage right now. Why should I work hard? Why should I come here and keep working harder if I'm still gonna have to do that?
20 pence is more than enough to buy a meal for a week. Do not let the gob fool you. I understand the value of a pent. I don't know, pent? What's the single of pent? Pence.
I guess, yeah, pence.
I
Penny,
know the
maybe?
value of a penny. There you go. I know the value of a penny. There are plenty fine establishments here in this city where you can buy a full meal for a single penny. Getting paid 20 of them.
I guarantee you not a single penny lasts the whole week.
No, but you're getting paid 20 of them, as you've already told me.
It doesn't put a roof over my head either.
There are plenty a fine tavern, with food included into the common room bill. That 20 pence will get you shelter and food.
He shakes his head a little bit. Yeah, that's a downright lie. Not a single place around here is like that.
You impugn my honor, sir. I durst not lie to another, no matter their station in life.
Yeah, well, I ain't ever seen it.
I mean, I'll look over at, Sorry, I'm not on the page. What's your Morgan? Morgan, your name?
Mordrin.
Mordrin. Sorry, I was so close. I look over at Mordrin as if am I lying?
The Lord speaks truth.
Yeah, well, if
Now,
his truth ain't in this city, then what's it matter?
well, if you were to perhaps sign a contract saying that you will work here even after this tragedy has passed that has caused all the refugees to come here, perhaps we might be able to persuade the Lord paying you for this work to give you enough of a wage.
It's all mites with you two.
Well, we haven't spoken to him just yet about your plight. We don't know your plight until we've come to talk to you. Yes? So these are ongoing negotiations.
But you're both
And
telling
ongoing
us we gotta
negotiations.
already agree to work harder, and then we might get paid more. Hardly seems fair to us.
You agreed to do the work, and now you're reneging on your agreement. It seems hardly fair that should you decide that your situation is untenable, that you would then make your laborers suffer for the consequence. What stops you from now going out and finding a better work agreement with somebody else? Unless you're telling me that this is the only work agreement you could find, in which case you're biting the hand that feeds you.
Turns out the hand that feeds me is made out of nice, tasty meat, and I want some, alright?
Right, and you do know what happens to rabid dogs in this city.
Well, if I'm gonna die one way or another, I'm gonna go down fighting.
But perhaps you could just go down working.
Ah, yeah, work myself straight to the grave.
I believe we all do that in one form or another.
He just sort of like gives like a little sigh. It's like, could you be more vague?
I could, but I choose not to be.
Wow, sounds like you're making some right choices then, huh?
I am merely saying that the options laid before us, as put before us by you, not by the man paying you, not by the company that you are striking against, but by you, sir, and your friends, is that either we end the strike, or the city guard is brought in and it's ended, and new work is brought in to fill the gap. You understand that the strike, is untenable, and I would rather not see bloodshed on the streets. I would rather see you work, and reach a point in your lives where a full wage may be met, and not a transitory wage, which is what you are currently working at. You understand that is not a full situation. It is a temporary one while you are still granted as a refugee in this city. Should you work for a full season, it is probable to happen that you will become a full stationed worker with full pay. But pulling a strike like this will not see that happen.
Yes, it will in fact be detrimental to your cause. And are you not making money right now?
Like I said, I'm barely being paid enough to live right now. If you can call it living, I still gotta go sleep out in the park.
You do appear to be living, though, which is more than some can say.
Yeah, it ain't too good for anyone else either. So I'm just staking my claim over here.
So, to be clear, once and final, you would choose to die on the streets, starving and fighting, rather than working and earning a meal.
Working myself to death as a slave doesn't seem like a good option. I'm tired of it already.
I would remind you that slaves do not get paid.
Oh, they do. They do, the couple scraps they happen to get.
That's not payment, that's sustenance. A dead slave is a not
And
worthwhile
what's my
slave.
pay gonna go towards?
You
Parties?
you do get paid enough to buy your meals for a week, and you get paid on the weekly. And as I've already discussed with you, and I'm not going to go back over again, you can afford shelter and food at the same time based on that payment. Not great shelter, but it is shelter. and with time you would earn your way into a more fitful position as you would be seeking. But it seems to me that you decided that you do not want to wait, and you do not want to work for that position. You would rather strike.
I got no doubt that he sent you over here to deal with us. I'm not liking some of the tone you got.
No, I was sent over to talk to you. The people that would be sent over to deal with you would not be talking. I am trying to help, but your position in this matter seems firm and unconsolable.
Yeah, well, your position seems, well, you're full of it, basically.
No, your face.
I haven't heard a single concrete promise back out of you, but you're asking a lot out of us.
I have given no promise, because no promises need to be
Exactly.
given. I have described your position in its entirety, and you have shot back with nothing.
Well, thanks for telling us to fuck off, buddy.
No, I am saying that should I need to leave, that the fuck off will be given by somebody else with much sharper weapons than the wit of my tongue. So you would do well to negotiate with me now, rather than negotiate with the guard, which has a much harder cutting point.
Like I said, I'm still listening, but I haven't heard anything yet.
I dare say you've heard
Got
plenty.
something, give it to us.
Yes, the promise of future labor is to pay full amounts instead of transitory labor. You do understand, as I will reiterate one last time, that you are transitory workers, refugee status here in the city, and cannot be trusted to not up and leave, which is why you are not getting paid full allotment
Can't be trusted. Can't be trusted. I've been here for a whole 3 weeks. I've done everything I've been told, and that's not enough.
Such is the status of transitory labor, yes.
Yes,
What do I
before
gotta
you
do? Give him
stroked,
my heart too? Let him put it
before
away in
you
a box
strike,
and hold a dagger over it until I do everything he says?
You have not lived here a full month yet.
yes, you were on such a good path too until the strike. Perhaps he would have, given you a better position and more pay than just a transitory worker had you stayed here for at least a full month or two. But now you've perhaps caused a setback.
I highly
You're,
doubt it. He hired us on because we're cheaper. Because we're willing to do it. The lot of the other workers that were here before us, I hear he fired them all. Used to pay him better wage too. We want the wage that they were being paid.
Yes, but they are not you, are they? They lost their jobs because of you. One might argue that with you gone, they would probably get their jobs back.
I highly doubt it. Man seems like he's rather pinch some pennies than actually give us a bit of the profit.
Truth in it or not, it seems likely that that would be the thought on their minds. So to hear that you're on strike would probably anger them greatly, and they might seek some form of retribution in order to get their jobs back, which would be unpleasant. You have to understand, again, that you're not in competition solely with yourselves. There are a fair number of disenfranchised people here in this city that would die for a job, a chance to eat.
I'm not exactly seeing another option. It's either starve or starve a little bit worse.
Except, as I pointed out, you are not starving. You're eating every day, and have the opportunity for shelter, which is what a great number of others do not have. You may be disenfranchised by seeing others in greater positions than yourselves, but that is not to do with them. That has to do with you. You've been given the opportunity for shelter, for food, and for labors, and you are squandering them, good sir.
He'll sort of sigh a little bit and go, well, you can go tell him. Same thing I told him before. We want 70 pence a week, not 20. We ain't moving until we get that.
At 70 pence instead of 20, you would be expected to do 3 times the amount of labor with half of the workforce.
I'm saying the work we're doing right now is worth as much as our lives.
I am saying that an increase in pay would obviously require less workers to do it, which would then increase the workload. You understand that the amount being divvied to you is not going to come from nowhere. It has to be taken from somewhere. So, if you would desire 70 pence a week, then 2 of you are not going to be working here anymore. For the
Why
one
not
of
take
you,
it from his pocket, huh? What's he got that's so good he can't give it up?
armed guards.
Let's see, what's the best response to that?
Or how about the force of law?
Well, fortunately for us, the guards are a little bit busy this week.
Yes, but as said previously, there are those who would desire work that would fight for it. If not them, then there are many private concerns that one with money can hire out to do dirty deeds.
I gotta ask though, is it gonna cost more for him to pay us, or more for him to pay them?
In the long run, more to pay you. Paying them is a short-term pay, because with you sitting here, blocking his labors, he's not getting paid. There's more money being lost not working than to pay somebody once to ensure that new workers come in.
Hmm. Let's see, would this fall under a bit of charm or intimidate?
If you end the strike now, I will negotiate on your behalf.
That was like a GM question there.
No,
It's
yeah,
like,
no, but I'm
shouldn't we
just
do it?
finishing. I'm finishing the thought since now you're pushing towards roll. So I'm finishing the thought. I will negotiate on your behalf with Sir Christoph for the possibility of future long-term employment rather than transitory employment, which then might ensure you a higher standard of weekly pay. However, as I've said before, everything in perpetuity will continue, whether they be with you or not, so you could see your lives bettered for the possibility of them bettering your family's lives, or you could end it all here, as again, the money cost of replacing you is far less than the cost of increasing your pay. And everything else I said before that.
Yes. So, which does it fit under? I suppose you are still trying to at least seem reasonable to them, just with the possible threat looming. So we could go ahead and go with charm. Hey, Mordrin, are you going to try to assist with this?
I have no charm training. The only training I would have is intimidate, and I don't think that would help.
Alright, so you don't put on your dwarven charm then. So up to you then, Berthold.
Schemer?
Yes, I'll give you Schemer.
Let's see. Does etiquette work here?
Well, they aren't quite nobles.
They're not nobles, but I am dealing with nobility. Indirectly. I'm representing the
not with these
nobility in a
particular
negotiations
people.
between nobility and these people.
Maybe when you go back and talk to the noble.
Alright.
And for giving plenty of impassioned speech, though, I'll give you a +10 anyway.
5 degrees of success.
There you go. So you weave your words eloquently, you tell him all the conditions going on, you give him that slightest bit of hope and dangle it over him. And he crosses his arms and sighs. We'll go talk to him then, huh? We'll do some work. But he's gotta pay us, alright? Go talk to him and tell him and see what he says. See if he's willing.
And in the meantime, you to work.
Yeah, we will. Maybe a little good faith will go a long way here.
Alright, I guess with that we return back to Christoph, whatever his last name was, because in my mind it'll always be Waltz.
I'll find out what it is. I keep losing it. It's down here. Do. Warden. There we go. Alright, so you return to Christopher Warden. And it is still a bright new day, breakfast is over, and he appears to be going about business in his own home. He greets you in one of his studies where he has a small number of financial papers to pour over. But he stops his work for the time being, pushes it to the side, and welcomes you to his home.
Curtsy.
Welcome back. So soon. Well, how did it all go?
They've agreed to return back to work, and I said that I would discuss with you the possibility of further future employment as standard city workers rather than transient labor.
I see. What have you got in mind there, huh?
Did any
Not
of
still
them?
demanding 70, are they?
They are, but as I said, I would negotiate with you the possibility of future permanent worker base rather than transient labor, which I guess means that if they stay employed for the course of a year, that you would then pay them standard wage. However, I would suggest, in the course of things, that you would then see to it that you start cycling labor out from location to location so that they do not discuss such matters amongst themselves, in which case the chances of them staging such a strike would then be reduced.
I don't have nearly so many locations. I got the warehouse and a few places that produce, but the people who work the warehouse don't quite have the same skills as my laborers.
Well, then I suggest that you expand, or find some other means of ensuring that your labor force does not further discuss matters of strike ever again. It is bad for not merely yourself, but other workers across the city, should they discuss such matters again. We cannot have another Bolshevik uprising.
Well, you do got a point there. But hey, if they're willing to work for a whole year for chump change, then hey, all the better, I suppose. Make a nice little profit in the meanwhile.
Yes, and you just need to make it apparent to them that the opportunity exists for their advancement, as dire as it may be.
And he'll go ahead and pull out a little piece of paper and start scribbling on it. Something to the rough tune of, after a whole year of work, they will finally be paid, up to their desired wage. Here we go. If we can just get them to sign this little piece of paper, then that should, well, keep me good in the eyes of the community, let's say.
If he slides me the paper, I'm just gonna look down at it and say, I got them back to their work. What you do with your labors after this moment is not a concern of mine. Mine are
That's true,
merely
that's true.
suggestions.
I can walk down there and get them to sign it myself. But you did good at least getting them back to work. I'm glad. Thank you, Berthold. You're a lifesaver, you know that?
Yep, I am sweet to suck on.
But you got my support. Any funding you need, you got it. I want to see this happen. So put it there, partner. And he just like reaches out a hand to shake with yours.
Right, and I will curtsy again instead of shaking hands.
Ah. Well, all's good that ends well. So we'll go ahead and put a pin in that and come back to it in a bit. Alexa,
Yeah.
you are deep, deep underground. You and Gustav have found the secret passage.
Okay. Yes.
Let me go ahead and find the torch real quick so I can copy it over. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this over to this map. All right. As you head down the tunnel, it is narrow and jagged, and stones come out from the wall looking ragged, like you could probably cut yourself on them if you put yourself too close up against it. You can
Ooh.
hear the skittering of rats up ahead, though how far you're not certain until you turn one particular corner and can literally see one of them straight up ahead. And you can hear his voice, very much like the one you had heard previously, the human guard, quote unquote.
Uh-huh.
Yes, coming, certain of it. I have to tell them. People know. People know.
Um, I will draw my bow, knock an arrow, aim, and shoot him.
Yes, yes, I know exactly what they look like. Go ahead and roll your ballistics. Ooh, that is a solid hit. So let's see how much damage you do.
And I fortune that.
I don't see the damage number coming up. Again, I think I might be lagging quite a bit.
Yeah, getting a little robot-y. I rolled a 4.
Yeah, you're both roboted on
Alright,
me for
yes,
some
you,
reason.
you can in fact fortune point it, so let's see it happen. Ooh, wow, that's much better. To the right arm, starting from 7, takes him down to 2. Very nice. Alright, the arrow strikes him straight in the back. He goes, yes, I know exactly what they look like. They were two. Ah! And he stops in crying pain. And at that point, you hear a large, a lot more noise coming from all around him down the hallway. And we will roll initiative, as you and Gustav must now face off against whatever is in this bare corridor. Where is the initiative button again? Oh, there it is. Lexi had a 50 at one point. Cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and roll initiatives.
Well, I just did.
Oh, well. Oh, well, I just removed it. I'm sorry. I'm going to add you back. Ah, yes. Would you like to take control of Gustav for the moment, there, Theta?
I mean, since I'm the only one that can see a sheet other than you.
Ah, true. I could go ahead and give it to someone else later, but, for now, I think it's good.
I mean, unless Arkloid wants to, because I know he didn't get a lot done there in that last bit.
True.
So-
Arcloid, how you feeling?
I'm not too sure about the magic rules yet, so I would be asking a lot of questions during that.
That's fair.
Alright.
I just figured I'd give you the option since you didn't get to do a lot last bit.
I appreciate it. It's I'm gonna have to study the magic rules before.
How about
and
this? How about this, Arkloid? You move Gustav, and I'll control the magic.
You
Alright.
take the arms and I'll take the legs.
Opposite of
Alright.
that, actually, the reverse of that. You take the legs, I'll take the arms and the face.
Alright, I'll need control of the token then.
I'll give it to you. You keep doing what you're doing, Griff.
Alright, thanks. Well, I've gone ahead and rolled up initiative, and well, there's a lot of similar numbers this time around, but that's A-okay. I'm gonna move Alexa on top, and give player initiative. Alright, after your first arrow, your bow is in hand, and you're, ready for whatever might come. What do you do, Alexa?
I guess I will reload and try to shoot him again.
Actually, Griff, you're gonna have to give him control of Gustav. I'm having a problem with that sheet thing.
Oh, okay. Gustav, Ederino, controlled by Arc, seen by Arc. Save changes, does that help?
Yes, and I can actually see his name tag.
Excellent. Alright, hey, that is another hit. For minimal damage.
I'm fortune pointing it.
Alright, please go ahead and do so. 8, that's much better than 4. So let's see, 5, 3, that is a 3-point critical on his left arm. Critical value 91. Armor damage on this location reduced by 1 until repaired. Right. I'll give him a -1 of the blue and hope that I'll remember. The arrow strikes his arm a second time. I believe that's even the same arm. Nope, the other arm this time. And while he's reeling from one direction, he spins in the other. And the entire shoulder of his leather jacket comes ripping off. And he turns around to look at you and goes, they look like that! Ah! And I think that would be your turn then, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Clan rats. Let's see, they have 5 movement. Do. So he's going to go ahead and step out here and reveal himself. Terror. Oh, wow, why can I not read that number?
Wait, do you mean actual terror, or you're just saying the word terror?
I'm just saying the word terror. He's gonna move up here, and he has a shield up. So he's gonna go ahead and try moving an extra 5. This texture does not like the numbers, so I gotta zoom in nice and close to see that. He double moves and gets as far as this little bit of corridor. The one right behind him steps out, has to go around the corner, and advances. I believe charging was a full action, wasn't it? Or required both halves?
It should say on the combat handout.
Yeah,
have a
charging is
combat.
a full action.
Okay, so thus he cannot. However, he can move in still. And get as far as right up in your faces.
Do like me and Arkloid are fighting on the character sheet.
That's why I put the notes in Discord so I could tell how far you could move.
Alright.
I keep trying to look at the spells. He keeps trying to look at the stats.
Well, I'm done
Just
doing what I had to do, so you can keep it.
step over here and try to protect himself while drawing a weapon. Next one is going to go ahead, start moving on up. Comes around the corner. He's going to end up behind his friend. This one can go ahead and move up to here, behind his other friend. This one, all the way in the back. I believe he has a ranged weapon. Yes, he does. So he's going to pull out a sling, he's going to load. And this guy going to move here, have a direct line of sight, and load. Or draw. Comes down now to Gustav at the bottom as the rats come swarming out of the tunnel, having apparently been waiting and guarding the area.
Alright. Well, if we're not gonna move, then he...
Well, he does have ranged magic, doesn't he?
Yep.
So,
I was giving you the opportunity because you are the feet.
You are rather up against the wall, as the narrow turn before is hard to wiggle back through.
He channels. Any lightning bolts? This guy.
Excellent.
Oh, he has. How many magic points? I forgot to look. 2 or 3? 2?
So I'm pretty sure he has just 2.
Does he use his, let's see, ingredients, tuning fork. Okay, so yeah.
Casting number 10, casting
But he
test.
rolled doubles. He rolled doubles!
Oh no!
Let's
Alright,
see.
so what are the set of things we have to go through for doubles here?
This. Hold on.
Sensuous Curse first. Glow with an eerie light. And the Arcane Mark. So he will roll a willpower test to see if he gets an Arcane Mark.
Failure. So it's... Is he going for a failure or is he going for a pass?
Failure means that he will acquire an Arcane Mark, and we go to 175 in Realms of Sorcery.
which one of those rolls did that he get the double on to cause Nietzsche's curse?
Casting test.
Yep.
He
roll your
rolled
magic
a
dice.
100, the Rune of Zir.
Somewhere on his body, you gain plus 10 to channeling checks when casting spells from the Lore of Heavens.
But he is... Arcane? What lore is he? Well, he is Lore of Heavens.
He is Lore of the
Yeah.
Heavens, so it is appropriate.
So,
So that's an incredible little mark to suddenly have.
make a note somewhere. There's nowhere
Alright,
on the
Alexa.
sheet to make a note.
Right beside you, you see Gustav suddenly glowing with strange arcane power, and a mark appears somewhere on him that I will decide later where it is appropriate. But that lightning bolt did in fact fail. And I believe that would be the end of Gustav's actions, leading into Alexa's.
Okay. I'm going to switch out to sword and shield, or axe and shield, and charge that rat in front of me. Ah.
Ah! Alright. He's got a shield. He might try to bounce you. Oof, that is a hit to the head if he cannot deflect it at all. Where's his... Oh no, never mind. He has a dagger in his offhand, so he's parrying. Ah! And as your axe comes down, he just holds up his dagger and casts it aside.
Okay.
Alright. Now
Almost
up to
forgot.
them.
He's glowing for 8 rounds. I forgot.
Right.
Because he
So
has
for
the
over a
weird
minute
light.
here. All right. This rat over here can go ahead and look down the hallway. See, that stuff is happening. He's going to go ahead and move up to here. As he cannot quite... he can kind of scramble through here, I think. There's not a lot of surface area to contend with. But he rushes past everyone else, trying to get in there first. Meanwhile, the one facing you will go ahead and take his sword and will try to swing it in your direction blindly. And misses as awfully as he possibly can. He gently clatters against the narrow walls and curses them. Night Runner all the way in the back has his weapon. He loads and he'll wait because he would rather not get hurt again after being so terribly hurt before. But you can hear him call out, "Capture them! Capture them for Scan!" And at that, you can see this guy go ahead and pull out a large pole as he advances. You actually, I think, remember seeing them from one of the first times you encountered the Skaven.
Yes.
Let's see, and this one behind him also opts to go ahead and pull out another long pole. However, he can't quite reach over his friends, so he's a little stuck there. However, the two in the back have slings, they have readied and loaded them, and now they will both... Well, one will aim and fire, and the other one will just fire. Alexa, incoming shot. That's a miss. Oh, I forgot again, there are penalties for firing in melee, aren't there? Like minus 20? It's been a bit.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter. It was still a miss.
Indeed, it still was, but this other guy might have a much harder time, as we can see. So despite all of his efforts, the slingstone doesn't even make it halfway down the hall before it hits one of the walls. They
Despite all
both
his
shatter.
rage, still just a rat in a cage.
Indeed. And so it is now that we are down to Gustav.
Use the area of effect.
I assume we're not moving again, right?
Yeah.
Right. It looks like he's engaged with that Skaven here.
Indeed. He is up in
Alright.
your face and with a weapon.
So, channeling modifier now.
Is this working? There we go. There we go, another channeling success.
What was it called? It's not the storm. It's not wind blast. Okay, wind blast. 2 magic.
Just give me 1 second, I'll be right back.
Channeling.
Okay.
What's the ingredient on wind blast? Nope, he's not carrying an animal bladder as far as I know.
Let me see if I can go find the magic circle.
He failed. This doesn't matter.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring it over to this map. Okay, so he did fail again. Terribly unfortunate. Just rolling very, very poorly at the moment. Which would put us to Alexa. However, Alexa is currently needs half a moment, so we will go ahead and wait, as everyone else around her is going to be hitting her next. It's important to know what happens.
Oh, did you want to use a fate point, Arcloid?
For the spellcasting, sure.
Well, I was going to say to take an extra action so you could slap them with a melee weapon.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Right.
I think that only needs a fortune point.
Yeah, that's what I said, isn't it?
You said
Yeah,
fate
you
point.
said fate for a moment.
Whatever.
Okay, Well, go ahead and use some fate if you want to go ahead and give the rat a smack.
Alright, I've marked it off, so you go ahead and make the roll.
All right. Quarterstaff, I assume.
Yep, that's what he usually has. Because it's defensive.
And it hits the wall. Such as it is. Alright, well, while we're waiting on Alexa, what is the radius of Wind Blast again?
It is...
What is our measurement?
It is... large template.
How big is the large template?
I don't know, everything is measured in templates.
Oh, well, let's see. I don't want to leave this page because I want to have it for info later. I'll just have to come back to it.
Yeah, you just remember the page number.
Well, I'm terrible at remembering.
Well, you literally only have to remember the page number, then you just go back to it immediately.
Oh, it's too much. It says 10 yards. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that the circle seems about right. From one edge of the circle to the other, I think this is right. So it should be also correct up and down as well. There we go. So when wind blast occurs, it can cover quite a large area.
But it hasn't
Right.
occurred.
And now to try to remember the number, I think I in fact do remember the number. My short-term memory, it worked. Ha. Alrighty. Well, so far so good. Just wait on Alexa to pop back up. Got Gustav down here, controlled. I need space filler. I'm terrible at this right now.
And that's when, in Incarnations of Immortality, Perry takes over control of the devil. By the way, this is a joke from the Mutants and Masterminds going down carrying on. Because he gets seduced by a succubus that preys on the fact that he slept with another woman in the guise of someone he helps because his dead wife takes control of her body. But that's a sin on the church. So that one cardinal sin that he propagates is then the opening that the devil needs to take control of the Inquisition to use it for evil. But Perry takes control of the devil by, I forget, calling out the fact that he can't really control demons, I think. Either way, the devil of 1100 whatever is the different devil. And the afterlife in Incarnations is more like Dante's comedy. Or the Divine Comedy, rather. Which is Dante's Inferno, Paradiso, and Purgatory. By the way, which also leads into the next book, where God is replaced by a hooker. A dead hooker. Which is not a joke, by the way, it's literally what happens. It's not really a spoiler. Okay, you're back.
There we go. Alright, so we can cut out that bit of dead air. Alexa!
It's not dead air. What are you talking about? It's 8 goddamn
I mean,
books.
like, where nothing's happening.
Everything is
But still, Alexa, you have returned.
Okay.
You are, well, surrounded by rats.
Okay, well, I will aim and attack the one next to Gustav.
Alright. He will attempt to use his singular parry. Oof, yeah, that is a hit, so he will have to. And when he does, it succeeds on slim chances. They aren't great, but they're definitely matching you today. Alright, so Alexa, with that settled, it is now their turn, and they are both looking at you first. Or, well, yeah, Gustav hasn't necessarily made himself a threat aside from the glowing. Okay, yeah, one on each, I think. However, is there a surround bonus? I think not. I think this is actually even right now. So, number one, this is going to go towards you, Alexa. That is a miss. And the second one is going to go towards Gustav. It is also a miss. Okay, this one goes ahead and steps out from cover. And we'll look down the corridor and will not do anything because he wants to aim. This guy back here cannot quite squeeze past his fellows, so he's yelling at them and making the hallway quite noisy. Out of the way, but catch the man things! So does the other one, and that leaves the two in the back. They are going to load, and they are going to wait. Because they do not want to fire into melee. Comes back down to Gustav. Back up against the wall. Rats coming in. What does he do?
Once again, I assume we're not moving.
Right. He would have to disengage and take an action to do so. And he'd still be within range of that.
Well, he fails channeling. We're out of fate points, fortune points, whatever. So I guess we'll just go for a straight-up casting of... You know what? He never casts Lightning Storm. Oh wait, looking at the casting number for good reason. Wind Blast, I guess, was what we were talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, much more probable.
2, Wind Blast, Animal Bladder. Nope, don't got one of those. Ingredients, channeling failed. Nope, another failure. End turn.
Well, what a shame. Such is Gustav's luck right now that not a single spell is coming out. It's up to Alexa.
Okay, I will aim and attack the
All
one
right.
that's on Gustav.
Gotcha. See a hit. And it's missed this time. Now that leaves the two upon you. We'll go ahead and swing for Gustav first. And he will go ahead and aim. And hit Gustav's left arm.
You want to roll the parry, Arc?
Okay. It is defensive. Yeah, it's checked.
Nope.
There we go.
Ooh, there we go. The last moment, Gustav puts up his staff and blocks the blow. But what about Alexa? He's also in the mood for aiming.
Nope.
There we go. Nothing. But he go ahead and try to step back and away. Which means you will have a chance to hit him. So go ahead and swing, Alexa.
Okay. Just do I get an aim bonus or no?
No, because this is not something you've aimed for. Ooh, but that is a hit. He will attempt to parry it as he walks away. And so he does.
Is he able to parry while disengaging?
Oh, that's how I've been running it so far.
Because a parry is a reaction, isn't it? Because you only get one in a round anyway, so if he uses it now and you can't use it later.
Of course, he has backed up intentionally. And so that comes down to his compatriot in the back can go first. He has a almost clear shot. I think the one adjacent to you will still give him a penalty.